minute. Here's a mini podcast from Jabba's Dungeon Hub. Welcome to the dark dungeon of pop culture. I think this is 47. This is like a mini episode. Brandon's sick right now, so we're just gathering together and talking about some few news that's come out within Marvel and DC and toy lines. It's been quite a bit. We've gotten our first look at Mattel's new, well, I guess beginner line for more oriented towards children, but they still kind of look okay to me personally. I don't dislike them.
Like, we can segue straight into that. Uh, the photos that were revealed, shoot, there are about what, 8 characters, I think, in there.
There was Deathstroke, Joker, Batman, Robin. I feel like there was one more person, and then we had like an alternate Batman that was like in a mainly black suit.
Mhm.
Um, Superman we got to look at. So these characters that they're showing off for this beginning line, there's no ab crunch. I think it's just what, a single joint on their arm. Um,
Yeah, from the photos, it looks like a more in the single hinge joint, like a Star Wars figure, where you only get
oh,
the bend at the elbow instead of a Marvel Legend where you have, I can grab one without falling, the double elbow, or
I
you
mean,
can bend it like that.
it would be nice. I don't think they look bad at all. I think the ab crunch not being there is kind of a miss, just because on like the original figures that they would come out with, they would have that like weird square looking kind of ab crunch. You could have thrown that in there for like a cheaper quality, but I think the sculpts are okay. I mean, they definitely remind me of old school Mattel figures that you get like a basic figure with no
Mhm.
extra hands, and it looks like the later years Mattel that I really didn't dislike, because I had the Dark Knight ones and they were pretty cool, even though they weren't like the best look wise. They were still decent figures. Um, I don't know if you guys like go to Inner Geek a lot, but they have a lot of Mattel older figures. So if you ever like go there, a lot of their DC figures are from Mattel. Um, and you can kind of just see like where they were at in the 2000s, honestly.
Like, looking at these, I think that they do look as a, beginner entry line. They look pretty solid.
Yeah, they're
I mean, the single hinge elbow is kind of disappointing, but it's very much, these look like the same type of frame as the WWE figures that are in the cheap toy
mhm.
kid line, where those don't have ab crunch, they have single arm, and then I don't know if those cheap WWE figures have the double knee joint or a single knee joint, but at least these DC figures have the double knees. And I don't think I see thigh swivel either on these cheap ones.
It's kind of crazy that we're in like the state of figures now. Like I know they had a collectible type things before, but we're in tier lists now. We're like, this is the basic figure, this is for the adults, and then you got like the really big deluxe ones that you can get. It's just like,
Mhm.
where do you want? It's good so that you can have options, but it's also strange that you have to kind of like be very specific with this like frame of collecting now. Um, and it sucks that you really can't. The experience I've had for the last couple of years, you really can't go into a store anymore without like missing out on these waves. If you don't see the wave as soon as it hits the pegs, you're not really going to get it unless there's a replenishment. Um, and then you have like the warmers that just sit there forever that'll never go away. But I'm kind of hopeful for this line because they do look cool. I am really interested in what they're gonna do with the collectible version because I know back in the day they were releasing figures and then they had like I guess this new formula for Mattel that they were gonna do, and then that's when they I guess lost the license before they could do it. There was only like little screenshots and stuff of that. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just like whip that sucker out again. Like we didn't do it, so here we go. 20 years later.
Looking at these, one thing that I will think I'll appreciate with having multiple lines to collect. Um, I'm not the hugest, like obviously Star Wars is like my bread and butter preferred, line. And I have a decent amount of Marvel figures. DC is gonna be the franchise that I have the least knowledge of when it comes to characters. But like of course I know a bunch by like name, but that's where I've lacked a lot with, comics I've read, shows I've watched, or movies. So it's easier for me to go and spend, money on getting a Hulk figure or a Scarlet Spider because I've seen these characters and things that I've watched a good bit of or enjoyed these interpretations. DC, I think having the pros to like a collector line, a toy line, is you can get the characters in this toy line that maybe you're not super big fans of, but you still would want in the collection.
Hmm.
Instead of, with Marvel Legends, of course, we have normal Marvel Legends and Ultimates, but we only have like what, three Ultimates.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
if you want a character in Marvel Legends, they're the standard 24, well, 27.99, you know,
29. Who knows at this point in
yeah,
time?
or what, so it is kind of like, Captain America. It's like if you have $30 and you go in the toy store, you can either spend, the 30 to get a Captain America figure of a character who's like super popular and really big, who everyone would probably want in their collection, or Angel, who, not the
The greatest
craziest.
X-Men of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need him. You need him on your shelf. But between the two, if you walked in there and saw, I'm just gonna make up some numbers here. Let's say Cap was 20 and Marvel was Angel was 10. Well, yeah, I'd get them both. But you walk in there and they're both 20, and you go, I probably don't want this one, so I'm just gonna get this one.
Yeah.
So having, you know, two different price ranges, you could walk in there and be like, man, I really do want, uh, Batman. And then let's say, let me look at this list right here. I mean, they've got some pretty big DC characters on here. Throw me a minor DC character that you would like, but you wouldn't necessarily spend like close to 30 on.
Man, it's hard to say because
Peacemaker.
that's a decent one.
Who?
Peacemaker.
Okay, it's a Peacemaker. So you can get, the definitive version of Batman, but you can also just pick up a Peacemaker just because you're like, well, I know who Peacemaker is. He's a cool character. I don't want like the most extreme, articulated. So
Yep.
it's a nice way to fill the space in your collection to have these like basic guys who still scale correctly and still look pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only issue I see with this line, which I'll compare it to like McFarlane's repaint problem, where McFarlane, he's always wanting to do like, here's the version of Batman without his mask. Here's the version of Batman with his mask. This version of Batman's looking straight and not sideways. Mattel, it can be a good way for them maybe to get minor looks of characters in that small collector toy line. Like obviously you get like your big heavy hitter characters and designs in that main collector series focus line, and then put in your minor looks in the kids line. But what you might run into is they're going to release the versions that you really want in this kid line. You're going to go, I mean, it's the only way I can get uh, Batman 89 in this scale. You buy it, and then a year later, they're going to put it, in the next collector line and go all out on the articulation, so that you're double dipping. But I mean, that's just the price you pay when they got two different lines for two different price points.
Yeah, it's gonna be definitely gonna be something different. I feel like McFarlane has it. We're turning into like a Todd McFarlane hating channel, but uh, he does it so strange that you can't really turn away from how he's done it because you're just like, what? Why? And I really do kind of hope that we get with Mattel, like you're saying, a good bit of variety with it in between the two price points. Now, I would be kind of disappointed if these figures look wildly different from each other. If they're just like basic figures are this kind of like more comic accurate type things, and then like when they do the deluxes, they like just look decked out, dude. They just look crazy compared to them.
I mean, if you compare photos of what like the basic WWE figures look like to the elites, there's not too much of a difference other than added like ab crunch, and they go from single jointed arms to double jointed arms, and they get thigh swivel. But then you go to the ultimate WWE figures, and they get butterfly joints, a whole different abdomen, instead of like this type of ab crunch, on the elites, they get more like Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, where you get the rocker to go side to side.
This man's a freak compared to this basic Batman. I'm gonna have to look
so,
pictures again.
so it's like I feel like I'm sure that they will look fairly good, in your collection. And I do like the fact that they look like, from what we know, they will scale with Marvel Legends pretty nicely, which has always been the one thing that kept me from buying DC figures, were that they towered over Marvel.
When I'm looking at these figures, the detail is not bad at all.
Mm.
They're actually like I'm zooming in further now than I did before, and they're pretty good sculpted wise. I mean, like the people saying like they look trash compared to McFarlane. I don't think so, to be honest. I
I
think these
look at
look pretty
these,
solid.
yeah, I look at these, and what I see is the standard generic bulk body from Marvel Legends.
Yeah,
Like I look at the Green Lantern, and that looks like it could be a Marvel Legends body, just with less articulation.
like the
Like I
face,
think,
everything.
yeah.
Like look at that
So I,
Batman. Not to keep cutting you off, but like look at the
I agree.
the black suited Batman. Like if you zoom in, you can see a lot of detail on his legs that are like looks like
Mhm.
it's supposed to be fabric. His arms that are supposed to be like fabric.
He's got boot covers, like on his shins.
Like
His
that's
gauntlets have detail.
yeah, like that's a pretty damn good looking figure to be honest.
Like I will say, the Superman. I mean, we can't see a close look on his face. I'm not a big fan of that head sculpt.
They always do Superman for whatever reason, like smirking or something. Like I feel like if you're gonna do Superman, you should at least have like two head sculpts with him at all times.
Mhm. Now, I'm sure because the WWE figures, I think sometimes they do alt heads on elites, but ultimates get like three different heads.
I have that. I've seen like how much they come with. It's kind of insane. Pretty cool though.
So overall, like I have pretty good high hopes for this line. I mean, I'll be able to actually start collecting and adding DC characters to my shelf.
Yeah.
Now how I think this is the only big problem that I could see people having. I forget. Do you have do you have any McFarlane figures
Yeah, I got some.
anymore?
You need me to grab one?
Oh, like what kind of characters do you have?
I think I have the Superman still back there. Actually have my Batman, Nightwing Batman. Um, just depending on what you're looking for. I got Spawn.
So, like the problem I see with it, at least with launch, and to see how or how successful the line is you take someone, like you who has McFarlane figures in your collection, and then you have some people who have collected McFarlane since day one.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you this now, not to interrupt you. There's a guy on Instagram, but he has like collected DC throughout a bunch of these like brands and stuff from like
Mhm.
there's figures that are very stagnant that have very no like little articulation. Then he has a bunch from Mattel, but he has started the McFarlane line from literally the first figure they produced to like the last that they're gonna produce. So him switching from that, if he had a video one time, it filled up his whole entire fucking walls, dude. It was kind of nuts. And then now he's gonna add on to Mattel for however long that they're gonna have it, which is insane.
Yeah. So a collector like that is what I see a problem with because sorry, McFarlane has had the license since around the Batman
Uh, Maybe a
or
little
a
bit
little bit before
before.
that.
I don't know
Maybe it was
when it
just
started.
with him. It might have just been the Batman movie is what I remember seeing a lot of McFarlane DC toys start.
2019.
Okay, so McFarlane's been producing DC toys for like what 7, 8 years. Well, going on, but they'll end what this time 26. No,
Uh,
so they've been doing it.
you can keep going. I'm not trying to cut you off. I was just
Oh, you're good. They've been like what 6, 7 years.
yeah. It's
Something like that.
they said line Mattel will begin releasing their DC Universe line in second half of 2026 with a full takeover expected in 2027.
So people who have collected McFarlane have had 6 to 7 years collecting this line of figures. Now you have built up, and let's say you just got introduced to collecting that line because you weren't collecting when Mattel did it. Kind of like in my example, I wasn't collecting figures back in 2018 when they would have scaled with Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
I didn't collect McFarlane because they didn't scale. So, in my point of view, I have a fresh, clean slate I can kind of start with. The people who have, bought the previous line, they have every single basically version of every character that they would want. And then now they can buy them again, but with a different toy line.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's like, I kind of think, what would I do if, like, tomorrow I woke up and Hasbro lost the Star Wars license? And let's say Mattel picked it up. Or no, let's say McFarlane picked it up because it's a whole
oh
different,
lord,
like,
oh
so
lord.
now that I want to have 7-inch Star Wars figures. And what do they do when a line starts releasing figures for an IP? They start with the basic 101 characters. So for this first probably year and a half of DC with Mattel, they're just going to be releasing generic basic versions of Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, and it's probably going to be a solid probably 2 to 3 years before they start diving into more obscure-ish. Because at least McFarlane, he's a fan and a
Yeah.
creator. Mattel is just a creator.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not going to care about getting you your favorite comic book character who's had like one comic appearance in like 1995. You know, like they just want to make money.
Yeah, they're gonna get the most popular and push that out as much as they can.
Yeah. Which like the Black Series now has been going for 13 years.
Gosh.
And, and we haven't started to get like the crazy expanded universe characters until the past like 3,
Yeah,
with getting like
they
Starkiller.
but they like went from the original like little to then 6 inch, right? Like they had a what even caused the rehaul of that?
The Black Series started at 6-inch scale. So they stopped making the vintage collection in like 2013-14. And when the packaging for Black Series switched to like the red and black box for Force Awakens, that's when Black Series went to 3 3/4 inch scale. So you had 6-inch and 3 3/4. And then that only lasted like a couple years, and then they went back to a vintage collection. But they've always been 6-inch scale, but Black Series was the first 6-inch scale Star Wars figure. So, and you compare, I'm not trying to say Star Wars is like a broader character selection than like Marvel or DC, but it more so film focused. So, like from 2013 to like 2020, we basically only got, movie and TV and characters.
Yeah.
So if Mattel picked up Star Wars tomorrow, or sorry, McFarlane picked up Star Wars tomorrow, we wouldn't be getting a 7-inch Lord Starkiller until probably like 2040.
Yeah, dude. 2 days. 2 days. And then we get to pre-order that bad boy. Oh my god, I'm looking forward to that. That was like growing up and playing that game and then seeing that version of him, you're like, what the fuck?
Now, I still do think that this version of him is overpriced because all we're getting are just alternate hands and 6 lightsaber hilts.
Yeah.
But looking at the photos, we get a wired cape. He has paint. He's not like Django. Like he is painted head to toe.
Better hope he is. I swear to God.
The promo pictures show it. Wired cape. Like it looks like it's gonna be a knockout. So it's a highly requested character we never thought we'd get. Wired soft goods, a bunch of paint. I don't mind him being 40. I do think he's not worth 40 if you look at like what we're getting, but it's not as outlandish as I think I remember seeing the original rumor was 70.
I'd have to pass
So
probably if it was $70.
70, I would have been like, yeah, you guys are tripping. Like you need to throw in something,
Force
maybe
lightning or
alternate,
something.
yeah, force lightning effect, or give us the version of Lord Starkiller that doesn't have sleeves.
Mm.
Or make it a 2-pack with the freaking Tusken Raider version of it.
That would
You're
go
like,
hard, dude. Holy shit. Dude, if they would do like a pack like they did with the vintage a long time ago, where it was just like the transition of him, with him being
mhm,
like the apprentice and then in that outfit and whatnot. Oh, brother. Money maker, bro. Jesus.
yeah. I guess we can. I'm gonna have an offshoot topic really quick with Force Unleashed figures. What I want from the Force Unleashed line is I want Juno, uh, Coda, a battle damaged Vader, and at least Starkiller's look from the second game with like the shoulder
Yeah.
pad big thing. That's all I would want. But if I could request so many different variations of characters from that game, because I know a lot of people, they grew up and said like, "Oh, Battlefront 2 was my game,"
Yeah.
or Knights of the Old Republic. The first two Force Unleashed were like my go-to.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I loved Battlefront, but man, I grew up where I didn't get to play the online of Battlefront, so I played just the game of just bots. So that's what I grew up with. But Force Unleashed, that was like the first story-driven game other than like the Lego games where you're hashing out the movies of like a character you can kind of just grow with, and that's what really, really was special. Gosh, but one character I would add to your the ones that you want, and this one I would absolutely love a two pack to be if they did this right. It could be like a version of Starkiller with any type of skin from the first game, but his duo would be Proxy. I
I don't know how I forgot Proxy.
when you didn't say Proxy, I was like, motherfucker. No, but that would be such a good two pack. I mean, like there wouldn't be much to Proxy. He's so skinny and stuff that it probably cost them nothing to make him.
No, I don't know how to think of him. You could do a 2-pack with Shop T and her apprentice there on Felucia.
That would
I
be,
mean, probably their outfits wouldn't
hey man,
be
sign me up.
suited.
Sign me up.
Make it a fan channel exclusive.
Yeah, they can really do some cool two packs of
The
Force Unleashed.
trooper variants.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yes.
they've already got the blue marked stormtrooper and then the shadow one, but there are so many different.
Yeah.
Even the variations of the game, depending on the console you played it on too, are different. Because I played the first game on PSP.
I think I was on the 360.
There's so the opening sequence on Kashyyyk when you're playing as Vader and you're hunting down Starkiller's dad.
Yeah.
There's different variations of the Stormtrooper armor. Like it looks different
I didn't know that.
depending on they went so hard, I think, creatively on Force Unleashed for no reason whatsoever.
It was so unique. I mean, it was just during like those. I feel like during the days of when Dark Horse had the comics for Star Wars, so like those comics felt a lot like the game. Like it just, I don't know. That era of Star Wars will never not I will never not love that era of Star Wars. Um, God, Hasbro, man, you could do so much with this. Like, I mean, like, come on. I'm gonna clip that out and just tag Hasbro because that feels like unless they already have it down like the line somewhere and they're just not releasing that, Proxy and Starkiller would be amazing. And then just have like Coda and Juno together, or it could be Starkiller and Coda, and then Juno and Proxy. Like, it just you have these things that you can produce, and you'd make so much money. Like everybody still wants a third game.
Like I just sent you, these are screenshots.
Oh snap! What the fuck?
So you have the PSP. It's like a mashup of Clone Trooper and Stormtrooper armor. And then the Xbox and PS3 is like this weird Stormtrooper helmet.
I like the PSP version to be honest, because I
It's
don't really like that little nose thing.
I don't either. And what's weird is I grew up playing the PSP version of the game, so I thought this was also in the PSP it's during nighttime and Xbox it's during daytime.
That's
But
such a weird. I like the blue Stormtrooper. That's cool. It's like phasing out the old armor.
yeah, it's kind of like in Bad Batch they did like the Ralph McQuarrie inspired armor as like the Phase 3 kind of clone armor.
Those stormtroopers look so fucking whack. I never knew that. That's Ew. It's like they're morphing from the Clone Wars. You know.
They look AI generated
Yeah.
on the 360 version.
It's such a weird, like they're evolving somehow.
Mhm. And you could even do a 2-pack with one variation that looks like this and one variation that looks like the PSP.
I'd buy a fucking pack of those PSP ones. That'd be sick. I sold my Star Killer. I need to buy him again. He was pre-orderable on Big Bad, and if he still is, I might pre-order him again. I shouldn't have sold that figure. But you know, when times get tough, you just start selling shit. A poor guy be poor, bro. No,
Sometimes it'd be like that.
It
it
do
was
be.
like that. It was like that. So, no, Hasbro, I think, should definitely dive deeper into the Force Unleashed. I mean, I'm surprised that we're even getting the version that we are getting on the 4th, and I'm super happy. But if they're going to continue releasing these gaming greats, they need to throw in Coda and Juno and Proxy and all of them. I mean, let's go all in with them.
Yeah. I don't even remember if Coda, if his overall costume changes between the first time you see him and the him being blind, but I'd be okay with just an alternate head, that's blinded.
I, I want to say the second game he's slightly different, but because he was like you see him in the arena, but I can't remember.
I'll be okay with just like his most iconic outfit with just an alternate head that's blind, just to get the point across. Because I would probably display him as his like normal original outfit that you see
Yeah.
personally. But imagine that game could be the way that we get Bail Organa as an action figure.
I'm surprised they haven't done him, actually. That's kind of crazy.
You know,
Kind of crazy they haven't done him. I think it would even be cool to have a. I know this is going to be kind of like morbid in a way to some people, because like, why are you doing this? A Padme, like she can look alive, like she could be alive pregnant lady, but like how just having like I don't know if you're gonna have like a diorama of her like in like the place like right after what happened, playing, and you have like a baby hump, optional baby
yeah,
hump, like I don't know, I don't know how to word
yeah,
it.
yeah. So a swappable belly piece.
Yeah, like it just snaps on or something. I think that it's weird, but it's a character that you love and you want to have.
I feel the same way about doing Vader. As like the operation table
Yes, yeah.
when they could do some ultra, deluxe kind of playset thing like
Oh,
that, or his back to tank, some way you could like suspend the figure
that
and
was sick.
detach the arms. But I feel like those kind of things, it's more, I wouldn't say like gross or like gruesome. It'd be harder to probably market that on like Walmart.com or Amazon compared to
Well, it's
like
like
Big Bad.
it's funny that back in the day when Revenge of the Sith was going on, that they had figures like that in stores, where it's like you could take his armor off and it's just like a charred up Anakin. So it's like we could do it, like come on, but
It's
uh,
like when Starkiller came out and they put blood on him, I like lost my mind because I was like, they're putting blood on a figure.
they gotta represent that he goes hard. So um, I was trying to look at the photos of Starkiller. That's a sexy figure, brother. Man, that's a. It would be really cool though if they released a Sith Luke in his Hoth outfit for that mission. That would be kind of cool.
Uh, they could do. I'm forgetting even about the second game. In the second game, whenever that version of Starkiller. He has the evil clone that wears like you could do that
Yeah.
in Starkiller figure. You could do Ultra Super Jedi Master Leia that you fight on Endor for some reason. Like
Dude,
she could be a figure. That would be crazy.
you have like mutated Star Killers, dude. Like the fucking blue ones that were going on.
Yeah, the zombie Starkiller.
You can do
I
so
mean,
much.
they could if they would go all out on uh Force Unleashed. I would make a whole dedicated shelf just to
Yeah,
those two games.
for real. Like, I mean, it's such a missed opportunity. I mean, I get it. They're trickling like the gaming greats out, but I think I hope that a lot of people buy this figure and then they kind of like get a oh shit we could really make more of these. But I'm really surprised they're even doing this one because we got the pack and then the single and then now this is crazy. But um,
I think it's one of those things where I feel like if that would have been the first Starkiller figure, this version wouldn't have sold as well.
that's true.
Because I do think ultimately what people would rather have, even though this is the canonical version of Starkiller, his ultra suited up
Yeah,
thing looks badass.
he's
So
basically Vader type shit. Like,
yeah,
man, what a time to be alive and finally see your boy come in. You know. Um, on other news, Marvel Legends has come out with a good bit of figures to pre-order. Like Abomination is coming up, which is blowing my mind that he's even coming back out. I was just on X not too long ago before that was even like shown, and I tweeted out, I was like, why aren't we getting like Abomination? Like no Abomination whatsoever. And a couple days later, they showcase him. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's no shot in hell. Um,
You caused it.
I wish. Thank God we're getting it though, because I don't have a Hulk because I'm kind of holding off on Maximum Hulk. Because I've been seeing a lot of negative comments about it, like ripping and tearing, and over time, and we all knew it was going to happen.
let's see status. How long has this figure been out? About a year or 6 months or so.
Now that he picked it up, it's going to tear.
I mean, I've pretty much left mine in like a static pose, so mine's good.
I
But
just,
I'm not constantly messing with him and changing the pose.
yeah, I'm sure like the people that really like change really quickly, doing different things. Like if you're like taking pictures and whatnot, I guess it's different because you're just constantly wearing it down. I don't like the price point of him though. That's the biggest thing that keeps me like from buying him. I really want him, but the price point being like $56 to $70 is kind of pricey.
Honestly, looking at these butterfly joints underneath of his torso, I don't get why they did this instead of just doing like a normal chest.
I feel like they had to come up with a better reason for it to be like a maximum. They're like, oh, plastic.
Like, don't get me wrong, I do think that it makes it look more seamless with the butterfly joints not, being
Yeah,
super out there and crazy like on a Spider-Man figure like that, but I think they could have done it. They just experimented with something and hopefully they don't do it again.
every Hulk now. Just let's go.
Not even Ultimate Hulk, so they'll start releasing normal Hulks like this.
God, man. I think the last Marvel Legend I got was Spider-Man Nightcrawler. Um, yeah, pretty
The
decent.
last one I got was the Mysterio when I found him at Walmart. But before that, I couldn't tell you what the last one I got was.
Been getting a lot of misses. Have you been getting any Chad?
I bought a Mysterio, and that's about it. I think it's back here. Let me see.
I mean, like, I'm okay with Marvel Legends not popping off because that just means more money I can put towards other things.
Yeah. Mysterio. I saw him once at Walmart. I was gonna get him, but then I passed him. That's
I got him just since in like the Spider-Man area, it's pretty much just Spider-Man villains in my like Spider-Man collection. So I just felt like, yeah, why not just add more?
He's my favorite Spider-Man villain, so that's why I got him. So
oh yeah. I mean, I really, if I had to pick all characters that face Spider-Man, I think Green Goblin for sure is my favorite, and I got like a special place for Hobgoblin. I don't know why. I just like those two. The look of them, how they're two separate people and they have like their own crazy like differences. Obviously Venom as well, but he nowadays he seems more of like a hero type. Obviously like lethal protector, like he's always portrayed. But
mhm.
I would love an ultimate Green Goblin.
an ultimate Green Goblin with a Harry Osborn fucking head.
You could do a hairy, like a good hairy head. You could do a goofy uh, version like I have, where he's like got bug-eyed mask,
Yeah.
and then just do one that looks, realistic enough. You know,
You know what I would really like is a Maximum Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man. No, yeah, Maximum Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and Green Goblin Spider-Man 1. I feel like that would be fucking super cool. Like they released Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock didn't release the Green Goblin.
the whole thing with them, I don't understand the copyright because you do Spider-Man 2 centric Doc Ock, then you do Green Goblin, but he's from No Way Home. But you're able, well, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man figure, even if they put it and make it based off of the original movie, it's still using the No Way Home style
Yeah,
costume.
yeah.
And they're just now doing an accurate uh, Andrew Garfield figure to No Way Home after all that copyright crap. So I feel like they're just going to randomly one day release a super accurate version
Hopefully,
of
hopefully.
Toby and be like, yeah, here you go.
Like the black suit one's pretty cool, but it just doesn't look like what you want it to look like. It doesn't look like the movie. It doesn't like it just the mask is kind of weird. He doesn't look very muscular. He just kind of looks I don't know. It's just off. But I really like the re-release of the single Andrew Garfield. Something is different. I don't think anything's changed. But when I got that figure, I was just like, damn, this one actually looks clean as fuck compared to like the one I've had twice before. So I mean, like I got the 3-pack, sold that because I wasn't happy with it, and then I got the single again. I was like, I'm still unhappy with it, and then I got this one. I'm just like, I don't think anything's changed, but it just I don't know.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah, third time. Not doing it again with Toby or Tom. So I'm I mean, if they do a single release of the Toby again and maybe kind of do more accurate look to it, maybe. I'm not the biggest fan of Tom's suit, so I'm not gonna buy that one.
Move on to what we've been watching recently.
This a fucking movie podcast? What is this?
I guess not. I
Uh,
don't have to be.
no, I'm just kidding. What have I been watching? I did watch the two animated movies. I don't remember. I think it came out in 2024. Don't hold me on that. Of the Watchmen, that just it feels like they just took comic and animated every single part of it. If you guys don't know like about the Watchmen, I know who was it that did that movie a long time ago? It was I think it was the guy that did Man of Steel.
Snyder.
I'm pretty sure Snyder did it. That's a good real life hero movie. Not obviously real life, but you know what I'm saying, not animated. And I watched the two animated movies, which was just like the first part of the comic that leads into the ending of the comic. It was really good. I really like that. The only other things I've been watching is shit. What have I been watching? I swear I've watched something, guys. You guys can go ahead. I've watched something.
I don't remember the last time we got on here, but I've watched the new Toxic Avenger.
Oh God, please don't bring that trash up.
All I can say on it was you I wouldn't say they did anything to even make it like politically correct or anything. I just felt like it just didn't have a lot of edgy, like the original one's just the original. Like
Yeah.
you can't get more wild than that. This one just kind of felt just meh. Like it
Yeah.
I just didn't have anything about it that even like piqued my interest.
I didn't
Uh
like the whole movie didn't do like anything wilder than the original did. Like there's
and
nothing
I
like
don't
huh?
I wouldn't say there's anything wild really in it that even
No.
strikes my mind that like there were things that definitely they were like trying to be like, oh, we're low budget slapstick, but it was still like in a serious way, and Toxic Avenger shouldn't be like
Yeah.
serious.
When it came to him, like I didn't want it to be exactly like the original because I mean you're not going to be able to do that nowadays at all probably. But when they came up with him being like a father, like a single father, I was just like, what? Kind of like what?
Mm.
Why is this the plot? Um, and then
Like,
him having cancer, like it was a weird twist of like, oh, I have cancer, here's a treatment, I'm trying, you know.
mm.
But I don't know.
It was a way of them trying to justify making it redeemable. I don't even know. It's just
Yeah,
it's not the same as this really goofy janitor weirdo boy falling in a vat of waste and gaining rid of a blind woman. You know, like
it's
it,
it's just
it's just not the same.
I there is no like I can't remember the plot points barely. Like that's also it bugs the fuck out of me that it's not him in the suit. You can clearly tell
Yeah,
it throughout the whole entire movie. It bugs the hell out of me. You know, like I'm not saying you got to be in the suit, but it just takes it away. I feel like in
yeah.
some way.
Um, I've also watched. Well, Michaela and I have been kind of going through the Predator and Alien franchise.
Oh yeah.
We've made it to Predators, the 2010 one with Adrian Brody, the guy who plays Venom in Spider-Man 3. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I want to
Trevor
say
Grace.
I was gonna say Gopher, like
Go for it.
Gopher, something like that.
I, I'll say I think the original Predator movie is, of course, the like blueprint and the most iconic. But Predators is like what I think of a Predator movie.
Yeah, it's solid. It's very solid.
Like, yeah, it's got some goofy dialogue, cringy like no character development with anyone. But what does it have? A bunch of badass predators stalking and killing people on a jungle planet.
Um,
Like,
was I don't know why this comes to my mind. Was Walter Goggins in that movie?
yes, with his quote of, you know what, I'm going to get out of here. I'm gonna rape some bitches.
Okay, I thought that was him. That's probably my first like viewing of that actor in that movie. I was like, it can't be him. He's one of my favorite actors, but I was just like, why is his face coming to my mind when I think of that
He's there and he's like, man, I'm gonna be like, man, you know what? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Man, it's bitch raping time.
movie? He was so
And
wild.
he looks over at Grace, is like, you know what I mean? And Trevor Grace is like, yeah, totally.
Good twist in that movie too. Good twist.
What is it?
It was a good twist in that movie
Mm,
with
well,
Ezra.
it's a solid entry. I'm not looking forward to the 2018
Oof,
one,
I don't even.
but we'll watch it. But I'm not looking forward to it.
I don't think like there was cool concepts in that movie. I won't lie. Like
Mhm.
the super predator was crazy, and I like the look of the regular predator. For a moment in time, I was trying to hunt those figures down. I did have the assassin predator, which is fucking huge, but for a time I was hunting those down to get because they're pretty cool. You get two. NECA did two concept figures of like predators in military outfits and stuff. But the concept of that movie was good up until you get to like the whole autism storyline that they were trying to go for,
Yeah,
and then it kind of got goofy. Then you had like a practically what they were trying to like do was like an A team almost. Of, like you got all these crazy characters that are like convicts and whatnot mashing together. But it just felt like, is this a comedy or is this a horror film?
yeah. I feel like they couldn't focus on a tone, and then the whole autism. Maybe it came from a respectful place, but from
Yeah,
what I remember, they just did not do any of that right.
it just fell flat. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
done in a cool, like they were trying to make it being like a superpower, which is cool that you're trying to like make this. There's nothing wrong with autism, and it's cool that you're trying to conceptualize it in such a way. But in a Predator movie, like why?
and I don't think people that are diagnosed with autism like the movie's portrayal of autism.
Yeah, like
Like,
what are we doing?
um, the only other things right off the top of my head I can think of, because I've watched a good bit here recently. Um, I finally watched the Blade Runner movies.
Ooh, you've never watched those?
Mm-mm.
Man, we should have done a podcast then on the fucking first one. That first one is both of them really I love to death.
I liked. I mean, the only thing I hate about them, and when I say hate, I don't actually hate it, is they're both, and especially Blade Runner 2049, is a massive, just slow burn.
Yeah,
But it's so nicely done. It's like sets look amazing, especially 2049 just looks beautiful. Like colors pop,
mm,
just everything feels so large in that movie. And like, yeah, times where I'm kind of like, oh man, I wish we'd get like a full, action sequence. But like at the end, like it was solid
yeah.
and great performance. I like Harrison Ford in the original movie. Ryan Gosling is cool. So watching this really made me excited for eventually when we get him in what's the Star Wars movie in Rogue
Is it
Squadron or something.
Starfighter?
Or Starfighter.
It sounded wrong in my head. I don't know.
I think it's Starfighter. Like seeing him in like this kind of like space sci-fi kind of thing made me really excited for him in that, if it's even on the same level. But really enjoyed, especially 2049. Then I bought the collection of Nightmare on Elm Street on 4K, and so I'm doing my Nightmare rewatch. The original holds up. Obviously, it's the original. I've always been a supporter of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And all these movies I've only watched once except the original. And I haven't watched them for like probably 6 years. Probably like around the time I started college. I always liked 2. I might say that Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is better than Nightmare on Elm Street 1.
I haven't watched it in a long ass time, so like I years ago I went through them all, and then it just kind of progressively went from like horror to kind of goofy.
Mhm.
But two, I don't remember anything about.
2 is the one where you have the guy who is having Freddy kind of invade his body, and he's killing. Basically, the guy is killing the people as Freddy, but Freddy's like kind of morphed with him, and it plays a lot on like uh, him being like this character is gay, but he's closeted, of course, in the 80s,
Hmm.
and he's trying to, having that internal battle that he has going on. Granted, I've seen people on both sides take liking and offense to that whole undertone. But when I look at it, it was a topic they covered in the 80s.
Hmm.
Um, Freddy is probably the meanest out of any of the portrayals. Like the first movie is still kind of like not down to earth, obviously, because it's a guy who kills you in your dreams, but
Yeah.
like he's at least not overly comedic and goofy. Nightmare 2, he's like straight up evil and
Hmm.
like fucking with this kid's mind. Like it, I was like sitting there like, if this is how all the movies were, I'd be the biggest Nightmare fan. And
Yeah.
then I put in 3. I remember liking 3. 3 has memorable kills, like Welcome to Punk, bitch, where he grabs the girl and throws her on the TV. But that's where the goofy, cheesy Freddy really starts popping up. And I was sitting there
Yeah.
like, and I know it's probably just, I think Nightmare 2 didn't do as good commercially, because it was a darker take on Freddy, where he was, and it was gay. Like, yeah. So, I think they were trying to, in the 80s, of course, they're trying to rebrand him, you know,
Like,
so they
wait.
decided,
We're not gay.
yeah,
We're goofy.
yeah. They're like, yeah, actually, this is a cheesy horror movie. We're not actually going to cover like deep topics. We're just going to, well, 3 does cover like, suicide and stuff because it's all these kids in the mental ward. But like, it's a very goofy portrayal, whereas 2 is just straight up like kids losing his mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna work my way through the franchise again because it's been a long time, and so I would definitely say that if you go back and want to rewatch one, watch 2.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that because I don't remember that premise, and it's honestly got me more interested in it. It's been so long since I've actually watched it. Did you add in the the reboot one? Not the one that's like around 2013. The one that Wes Craven did, where Freddy had like a whole new look.
Where it's like based in real life with
Yes.
actors, and I think that's an yeah. I think the collection has the original like 1 through 6, and then New Nightmare. It doesn't have Freddy versus Jason or the remake in 2010 or whatever.
I quite liked that one growing up. It
Um,
felt scary and didn't feel like goofy Freddy in that one so much.
and I mean, I do think that the 2010 remake, it has a lot of iffy things in it because it kind of treads just on that time frame of just remaking a horror movie and
Yeah.
making it 2010s ish. And I think that's why I like Nightmare 2 so much, is where Freddy's just nasty and dirty and like literally just fucking this kid's mind up. I don't I'm not supporting Freddy actually touching kids. Like
Whoa.
they
Whoa.
like the version the version of Freddy in the remake, like in the original movies always alluded to that Freddy was a toucher, but it was more just like, you know, he was a child killer. He didn't
Yeah.
actually like, diddle. But then the 2010 movie, they're like, no, he's a diddler. And like, I know But for a character with the tone that the 2010 one went on Freddy, he lost the like, welcome to prime time, bitch, like voice.
Yeah.
And like the guy who portrayed him was very like methodical.
Mm.
I like that version because that is to me scary,
Yeah.
not this like comedic bumbling goofball who like, you know, falls over himself when he tries to kill you. Like
Yeah.
he's intimidating. The movie itself is but
It was just
the
that
interpretation.
that era, of like let's remake
Mhm.
everything, so everything has to look gritty and sharp, and
Realistic and
yeah, it was a decent flick. Yeah, I really like that actor because he played Rorschach in Watchmen. If he would have continued being Freddy, and maybe like if they made a second one and they kind of just improved on what people liked from that, that would have been good because I think he had a lot of potential. To be honest, as Freddy. I mean,
I hated that in that movie they did so much CGI to his face.
yeah, yeah.
When I've seen like the original prosthetics didn't look bad. The same thing with like the 2011 Thing movie. They decide, oh, we did all this practical effects. Let's just cover it up with CGI.
Never, never, never. They always need to go practical. Practical is like the way to go, even nowadays. I fucking love practical. It just looks, if you do it right, so clean. That's why I love Del Toro's stuff so much. He makes it look great and it's practical. But I mean, I guess back then, if it's just starting to come out, and every other movie's using it, you're gonna be like, do it.
Yeah, back in the day, we're like, oh, CGI.
Yeah,
Look at George Lucas what he did with, you know, the prequels.
add it all, add it all.
It might look bad, but let's use it.
That was like AI to them back then. Now, but
Yeah.
now
George,
AI is just in everything.
George
Now we just get
Lucas.
straight AI. Oh, George Lucas had access to AI back in
Jar
the
Jar
day.
was there.
He's like, I'm Jar Jar in the Battle of Endor. And Jar Jar Binks was piloting a A-Wing against the Death Star 2.
Good lord. Oh man.
Jar Jar Binks watched Ben Solo be conceived.
See now there we go. Before that's something. Um, the only other things which we'll touch up on the main podcast since this is a mini is One Battle After Another. We all watched that for the upcoming podcast, which we'll dive deep on that when we're all together. I have started. I have gotten halfway to the second film. I have started my rewatch of the James Bond movies with Daniel Craig. I am loving every second of it. I finished Casino Royale, loved it. I'm going on to Quantum of Solace, and then I think after the third one, I didn't watch all of them growing up with Daniel Craig. So at one point, I fell off those movies um, because I didn't really grow up on James Bond. I just kind of grew up in the time period of Daniel Craig becoming him, and then it was just like a big thing. Uh, did play the game though; that was fun.
So his is only what? Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, No Time to Die.
Yes.
The only one I would say that I don't remember anything of would be Quantum of Solace.
I see. I thought when I was rewatching these, I thought that was the first one, and then when I was looking at like the dates when they came out, I didn't know Casino Royale was the first one. So like somewhere in my me growing up, I think I started playing the game Quantum Solace, and then I started there with the movie, and that was it. Pretty good so far though. I mean, it really follows up from the first film. So if you haven't watched it for a while, I would recommend it. Oh, there's all the James Bond movies on Netflix for some reason. They just like dumped them all, and I started with GoldenEye because that was like the most prominent one I've always heard of being like the best.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. I didn't finish it all. I was really close to the end, but it's okay.
I've seen some of the older Bonds. The only issue I'd say with those is the camp.
Yeah.
You never know if you're going to get one that tries to be 100% camp or 100% serious for the time. So they're kind of like hit or misses. But that's why I kind of like Daniel Craig isn't what I envision Bond looking like at all. So I usually envision someone like uh, the original James Bond. Uh,
Fuck.
Henry Ford Sr., Indiana Jones' dad.
Clooney.
Yes. No.
Fuck. What is his name? Oh my god. I'm gonna have to look it up. I don't know. It's gonna come to me.
Generic white guy with, greasy, slick back
Sean
hair.
Connery.
Yeah, Sean Connery.
Yes.
Like that's what I envision Bond looking like as like a generic character. But I feel like Daniel Craig's type of movies are what I want because they're serious, spy thriller. Especially Skyfall. That's always been my favorite.
I've been really enjoying it. And it's got me excited for the upcoming James Bond game coming out. That I think the description is like you're playing through from where he first started. I still don't know how I feel about the look of James Bond in that game, but might be fun. It's the same people that make Hitman, so that's what excites me more.
Just take Hitman and just put a James Bond skin.
Maybe, I mean, shit, good, but it has to be kind of action packed, I guess. But what have you been watching, Chad?
Only thing I've really watched recently was I'm continuing on my Hunter x Hunter grind, just that anime, and the new season of oh my god, it's on the Jujutsu Kaisen.
I need to catch up.
So I watched RV, the like family kid, funny movie when I didn't have power or I didn't have internet because we had power still. But honestly, that's about it.
RV.
Yeah, it's got Robin Williams in it. It's just like he takes a family road trip. Just a kind of comedic movie from like the early 2000s. So that was one of the movies I found laying around here and just threw it in the DVD player before I went to bed. So
Let's see, have you not watched Wonder Man?
it's on my radar. I'm kind of indifferent if I want to or not because there's no action whatsoever in it. But I've seen the ending too, which is just kind of like when he finally gets his suit and stuff. So that's about it.
I'm unfamiliar with the character, so what do you mean there's no action? Is it just
It's not your
dialogue?
typical Marvel movie or show. It's more of just a kind of watch this struggling actor in Hollywood who kind of uses his powers, but he doesn't fight anyone.
Supposedly, he's a very strong Marvel
He
character.
he is very strong. He's pretty much like held his powers back his whole life, but he uses them in the very end for like a couple minutes, and I think that's about it.
This is where, like, if you guys haven't subscribed to Marvel Unlimited for like the comics, I would recommend because I've noticed throughout these last couple years, Marvel and Marvel Unlimited. So when a show comes out, they will have a little catalog on the app for that specific character that's coming out on a show. So on Marvel Unlimited, they had already set up like the top banners, like Wonder Man, where to start, and stuff like that. I don't know a single thing about Wonder Man. I still haven't even read anything about it. I thought he was a white character, which is nothing like bad, switching to like race or whatnot. But
He can be either, from what I've kind of gathered. He's pretty much the Marvel Superman, but he just doesn't use his powers very much. It seems like in this TV show so far. In the comics, I think he's using them a lot, but he's just associated with the X-Men.
To any viewers, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I was just saying like he's just like I only the only character I've seen of him as a white man.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sorry.
I'll preference. I'm okay with the main character of Nightmare 2 being a closeted. I I don't want Freddy to kill gay people. Freddy just happens to want to kill a gay guy.
You still watch the movie. I mean, it's like it's not like
I
you
still,
turned
yeah,
it on. It was like he's gay. Turn it off. So.
yeah, and it's my favorite one because it's a nice introspective inner battle.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you guys haven't um got on there and subscribed, I would recommend it because they do that with like every Marvel release. They kind of give you like an option, like, hey, if you don't know anything about this character, we got a whole line of comics, and they'll have like different eras.
If you're a fucking dumbass, read
Whoa,
this book.
whoa, I'm that guy. Sorry.
No, I
Um,
have to.
um, also to the viewers, there have been a bunch of releases of Doomsday. So we've gotten merch releases from like I guess like a convention or something was set up. We've got merch viewings. A lot of the merch was already being worn by Robert Downey Jr. So anything that you've seen Doom wise is probably going to be merch. We've gotten a official look at him because that Disney Expo thing they did like maybe a year ago, they just fucking plastered him up on a wall. That is him. So that's the Doom we're going to be getting. Um, what else? There's been some leaks here and there, but you can't really tell what's AI really anymore. So it's kind of like you don't
I'll be
know.
right back.
No, you won't. Um, we got potential looks, and there's like a comic cover that came out of like a bunch of characters, but it kind of looks iffy in some areas. Like the Beast looks kind of like Thanos for whatever reason. Um, that could be AI as well. It's hard to tell. But we have got an official look at some Doom merch and Doctor Doom himself, with potential leaks of upcoming characters' suits. And also, Magneto himself, the actor, um, supposedly destroyed New Jersey. So who knows what the fuck that's about?
I destroy New Jersey.
I just destroyed New Jersey the other day. That's crazy that he just slipped that up. But a lot of people were speculating, at least people on X, are saying that it is going to be an adaptation of Ultimatum, which was like end of the world type event that happened in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics and other Ultimate comics during that time period. Don't know if that's true. A lot of people don't like that, but I don't know. I don't really know of any other news at the moment, other than we got like an official look at Mando, but it's just kind of like the same thing.
Kathleen Kennedy's finally stepping down.
She's stepping down. Dave Filoni might be the new person in her role.
It's Dave Filoni and some other person are like, I think, sharing it or something like, I forget. There was somebody else mentioned in the article, but I would say here recently I'm not going to say I've come around to Kathleen Kennedy, but I've come to the conclusion that, since she's been over creative since George sold to Disney, we have had some really good things like Rebels, the first two seasons of Mandalorian, Andor. You know, I'll throw Force Awakens in there just because it was a big hit and a success when it came out. Rogue One. So, when those things come out, it's never been, oh, Kathleen Kennedy's doing a great job. It's always like the writers of that show who get the praise.
Yeah.
But when we get stinkers like Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Book of Boba Fett, Acolyte, and Obi-Wan show,
A lot more of them.
Nick said, like, huh?
So it's starting to be a long list of
Yeah. But when there's a stinker, everyone just goes straight to Kathleen Kennedy and blames her for it.
Yeah, pretty
But
harsh.
when we get good things, they never praise her for it. So I did hear that. I stole that idea from another channel on YouTube, but it at least
Better
opened
not
my
say it.
mind.
You better not
I'm
say it.
not.
You
I'm not
better
gonna say
not
it's
say
not.
it.
I'm not gonna say it, but I did hear that point mentioned, and I kind of was like, you know what? I get that. And I would say I was never a Kathleen Kennedy hater, but I always kind of wasn't a fan. But after I heard it in that perspective, I was like, that makes sense. Same thing with when Dave Filoni, we start seeing a lot of his creative decisions. It's going to be when something's good, we're going to praise, who helped Dave do it. But when we get something bad, it's going to say Dave needs the job taken away from him. He's not doing a good job.
Yeah,
So
I'd
I
say it's
don't
pretty
really,
harsh to see those reviews and then just get the whole blame. I guess it would just.
yeah, it's not her fault that everything is bad. It's everyone involves
Yeah, I mean, if
problem.
everybody there was just kind of like before the acolyte came out, it's like, are we sure about this?
Everyone saw the script for Rise of Skywalker and said, "Yeah, somehow Palpatine did return."
Yeah.
They
What?
read the script for Last Jedi and went, "Yeah, I do want to see Luke drink milk from a creature
Yeah. I want to
straight
see him
from straight from
grab
the source."
grab
And
that tit.
yeah, someone was like, "Yeah, that would be a good idea," and here we are.
That's true.
But someone also said, "Let's make Rogue One." So
That is true, and Andor. I mean, like it. It is kind of crazy. Somebody was like, you wonder if they're like, what will really piss off the fans? Let's just throw this in there to piss them off. And it is that Luke like just squeezing that tit. This will set them off. Just which kind of did. So I mean, I just yeah.
the shot in Book of Boba Fett when we've got the mod people on the speeders and they do like the
Oh,
360 slow mo.
I'm sorry, dude, but that was like some Power Ranger shit. I don't understand what the process was of that. That and them on their speeders, and they are going like 10 miles per hour. Drove me fucking bonkers.
Little kid Leia runs from those people at Obi-Wan and she's like
Yeah, it's just, dude.
just
I
frolicking.
fucking on TikTok. There was a clip of Obi-Wan and her, and you know the part where they're in like I forgot where it was. I don't think it was Tatooine. I forget. But there was a gate on like a sand planet,
Mhm. Yeah.
and they didn't go fucking around it. He just flat like what? Why? You could just scoop
Like,
around it. Like I don't
yeah.
understand.
That show was good for dialogue. Like whoever wrote the dialogue for that show knew what they were doing. Whoever wrote everything else did not know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because anytime we got Obi-Wan just kind of being like sad, like he's talking to Leia, I think right before that scene goes down, and because they're on the thingy and she's talking about like what my mom, and I think Obi-Wan kind of talks about Padme, but he's not saying like Padme's your mom,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that, him talking to Vader, the times they interact. That stuff's so good, but then the action sequences are just like,
What happened? Like
yeah.
I just don't. I don't understand because those parts, like you can clearly. Somebody said cut to that, and you had to watch it back, and you're just like,
They watched it and went, that's all right.
Fuck it, just put it through. But yeah,
They'll watch it.
and we did, and we ate that shit up. But no, I mean, yeah, I agree. Everything with Vader and Kenobi, and the really heartfelt moments were really good. I mean, it was just it became iconic when Vader and Kenobi had their confrontation, and he slit his mask open, and Anakin's talking through, and it's just that was iconic. I think made a very good scene. The rest of it, took a lot to get in there, but and Book of Boba Fett could have been something really cool. Just, I don't know. When he was just trying to become Big Papa, I was what?
You say when he was trying to become Big Papa?
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna adopt this town. You're just like, what the fuck are we doing?
I'm a good guy now.
Yeah, midlife crisis Boba Fett for sure.
It's like, I get it. And I've always been supportive of like a good guy version of Boba.
Yeah,
And I think that's what they were really trying to do with the show, but they didn't do anything to explain his inner turmoil of why he wants to do this.
yeah,
Because I've always was like, oh, well, he wants to do it because, he was left for dead in the Sarlacc pit by the world of scum and villainy that did not care about him. He is rescued and nursed back to health by a group of people who, treated him basically as one of their own once he gained their trust. They taught him, a bunch of skills. You know, he tried to save them, they died. Then he finds Finnick, does like the same thing for her, and realizes, maybe it's better to not, you know, be the lone wolf fighting for yourself when no one cares about you. It would be nice to have a group of people who you can rely on. And I'm getting older, so like I should, like I can see these kind of things that they could have laid out for Boba, but they never once touched upon like his inner
yeah.
reasonings for doing this. Like I can see that's what they were doing, but then also, why do you show him in Mando season 2 being a complete badass? And you go to his show, which takes place right after it, and he's like a softie.
Yeah. I don't even remember him like having a heartfelt like conversation. Really,
Mm-mm.
of like it would have been really cool to dive deep into his like head about like coming up, and this is the reason, like you're saying. But
Like I think the only line we even get regarding that, I think, might have been in, I don't remember, maybe it wasn't the show, but he was like, I was left for dead on the sands of Tatooine. And then I think like Cad Bane says something to him, to kind of be like, you're getting old.
yeah,
Like, wow, that's the character development we're getting in the show is 2 lines.
yeah, yeah, and that, and like I guess like kind of talking about his armor and that he is a Mandalorian. That was like a cool little thing.
Hmm.
But that's really the only thing that I remember. Which I like that they settled it that he is, um, because I felt like it was always up in the air if like he was a part of that kind of culture or not, or he's just like for himself.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Mandalorians, I've always seen it. You wear the armor, you're
Yeah,
like, I can appreciate in universe being different cultures and different ways of seeing it, but at the end of the day, to me, I see someone in that outfit, you're a Mandalorian.
yeah, I agree.
Doesn't matter. Same thing, Bo Katan's group is like, you must wear your helmet at all times. Well, not Bo Katan's, but, well, I guess at the end of season 3, she's like that, kind of. But, like, Ben's is like,
Oh,
you can't.
you froze for a second.
Oh,
I was like, oh god, he's gone.
that's just like, Den's group at the beginning of season 1 is like, if you take off your helmet, you're dead to us. You know, it's a cool idea, but at the end of the day, to me, it's what they fight for, not necessarily what they deem in their values. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. I'm super excited for the Maul series though.
Yeah, I still need to watch the trailer for it because I saw those Funko Pops today, and I like that we're finally getting a name for that Inquisitor, where it was in Tales of the Jedi and Ahsoka's episodes.
The Crow.
But I saw who's Icarus?
I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Like, I guess he's in a trailer, but
Like he looks like Maul, he's just not Maul, from
yeah,
what I understand, because he has different markings from the Funko Pop. But
another way to sell a figure.
oh yeah, can't wait for the Black Series Icarus.
The Crow and Maul. Honestly, I could go for the Crow and I could go for Maul. I don't know if I'll really care for Icarus, but
I mean, probably depending on the show. I mean, who knows? I could end up loving the show. I don't see myself picking up any figures from it unless I end up enjoying it.
yeah.
Like, the only one I might be tempted to get would be um, the Crow Inquisitor if it gets development in this show, and then his apprentice. But I feel like if I would get the apprentice that he has, I would want to get the Maul to go with it.
I mean,
But it's all just going to depend on how I enjoy it.
if they make the Maul look really cool, I mean, and make it look different than the rest of them that they've released. I mean,
Yeah,
we've gotten pretty solid Mauls, a variety of them. So
yeah. Like, as I kind of look at what I have now, I'm pretty happy with like my prequel shelf. Then I have like a shelf that's Bad Batch, Obi-Wan, Rebels, and Rogue One, and Andor. Some days I look at the Obi-Wan figures and I could go without most of these.
I feel the same way. I think I sold all of my Kenobi because I like the show enough to buy the figures. I might even still have the droid that he hung out with, but I just they didn't really give me that connection like with other ones. Like that's kind of
Mhm.
why I'm like mainly doing Clone Wars and I'm keeping my Return of the Jedi. I wanted to do Revenge of the Sith, but then I was like, I already have the Anakin in the armor, and then I just got the Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars, even though I need the other version. But I I I mean, like we kind of grew up in the prequel era a little bit, especially with the Clone Wars show that was on Cartoon Network and stuff. That was such a big thing in my childhood.
Yeah, so if I can, that's why I just kind of want my collection to just focus on what I love the most, which would be the original trilogy and the prequel era, like preferably movies, but obviously the Clone Wars TV show too, when it's, you know, the most memorable points. And then Rebels. I do have a soft spot for Rebels just because it was when Disney bought Star Wars, it was like the first thing that came out. And it's childish, especially in the first season, but there's still a lot of iconic moments in that
Yeah.
show. So it gets a pass from me.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah. Um.
I, I can't think of too much else.
Yeah. I really. I don't know what else. I mean, if you're a viewer and you're a fan of Marvel Legends, definitely let us know like what your favorite figure has. If your favorite figure is coming out, or if you have a favorite figure from the past, or what you're kind of like looking forward to in the future. Um, we do talk about movies a lot, but we do collect stuff. We used to do kind of like these unboxing videos. We don't do them as much anymore because I feel like we're just all so busy that it's kind of hard to. I think I got one that's like on my phone somewhere that I just have to edit. I think it was about the turtles from a long time ago. Um, but this was a mini podcast, even though it's like an hour and 30 minutes, but it's
We
we'll
didn't
have
cover
a
anything important. We just kind of bullshitted.
yeah, what it's about. I mean, I don't know also if the viewer has gotten this far. I don't know if it's set in stone yet, but we're playing with the idea of possibly going back to like 1 week. I don't know if it's set in stone yet or not, but
We
might,
shall see.
yeah, might be a beneficial thing. Um, check out the gaming. We got a lot of gaming stuff set up. There's a little series coming out with Brandon, Chad, and me. We did Left 4 Dead. Um, got a Resident Evil 4 playthrough going on. Might be other stuff trickling down the line. Whoa. But I think that's the index for this one. It'll be 47.